Seawolves, and welcome on board the Spirit of Amsterdam. I'm on the boat today, just had a business meeting. Now I came here because in the next 4 or 5 days we in Amsterdam are going to actually have some frost. It's going to be -1 for maybe 3 days or so. So I had to go over to the boat here and you know, winterize the engine real quick. So a few little small chores here. That's why I'm here. And I thought it'd be, you know, fun to do the show from here also. So I have, of course, something good here. Just let it sit there for 7 minutes. So ready for some delicious. Just look how steamy that is. And for the toast today I have something actually quite special, because for those of you like me who started sailing later in life, there's a particular enthusiasm associated with that, right? If you just kind of, you know, were given sailing, you know, as a small baby and you've done it all your life, you may still absolutely love it, but it's like, well, it was there all your life, right? But if it's a discovery that you made kind of later in life, as you know, I was, I guess, 25 or so when well, no, actually much later. 27 or so when I first really discovered sailing. So you know, at that moment you're really excited, right? And so when you see that same excitement in somebody else, it's kind of cool to recognize it. And so yesterday I was watching some different boats, some amazingly nice sailing yachts actually on YouTube, and I came across a video of a man that I've, you know, been following off and on, who's making just the most amazing videos, but always about motor yachts.
In this fertile and prosperous environment, the Leopard proudly stands apart from the herds of more common yacht production vessels designed to appeal to the masses and satisfy the ordinary folk. There's nothing ordinary about this yacht though, and this is not even an ordinary Leopard, for this is the 46-metre Leopard, Tout au le Mariner.
You know, this is like a motor yacht man. It's not the yacht guy, by the way, but a motor yacht man, making amazing videos about him. And finally, he made one sailing video, one overview of just an absolutely amazing boat. And I saw this video, and you know, you guys are, you know, here because you want me to kind of find the pearls from the sailing world and show you. And I thought, wow, I really have to show this to you, because the boat he's showing is just amazing, right? And it's the end of the year, so I figure the end of the year is always a time when you have to think about your dreams. You know, maybe you need to dream a little bigger, you know, next year. You need to think about, you know, your future, and it's good to see what's around, like to taste a little bit of different things and to say, wow, you know, what is something that you can aspire to for the next year or for the next 10 years. It's a time to make this type of things happen and to set this type of courses for yourself on a personal level, right? So I thought actually a really nice way in this toast to kind of, you know, transport all of us to just a completely different world that I'm not in, that, you know, most of you are probably not in, but it is there, right? And it is also sailing. And to see somebody who, you know, virtually no experience with sailing, learning about sailing on a boat like this, and actually so just honestly communicating the pure joy that he obviously experienced with this, I thought is newsworthy. And so you know, a full disclosure, I'm not getting paid to show this. It is a video that's obviously presenting a ship, but I'm showing this to you just because I think it's a beautiful ship. I talked with David, you know, asked if I could, you know, share this with you, and he loved that idea also. But so, you know, full disclosure, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to show you something really beautiful. And wait really for the end of this, because the end of this, well, I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but there's something on this boat that is like so jaw-droppingly a great idea that I know absolutely for sure that, you know, all of you are going to love this. So are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I've seen the light. After filming motor yacht after motor yacht from Fedship to Ferretti and from Amsterdam to Antigua, finally I have been invited to film a sailing yacht, and Lord above, I've been converted. The catalyst of my epiphany is a sensational 105-foot sailing yacht called Child of Lear, launched in 2014. If you know something of Irish mythology, you'll be aware that the children of Lear bathed in Loch Derbreach, where they were magically turned into swans by a jealous stepmother who had originally planned to kill them. It's a very elegant and intelligent name for a very elegant and intelligent yacht, built in fact by the legendary Nauta Swan shipyard. Where sailing yachts are concerned, I have to say I've always been somewhat of an agnostic. I mean, I can understand why people believe in them. I've just always felt it's not particularly something for me. Even now, I'm not sure whether it's the world of sailing that's won me over, or rather this specific sailing yacht, built for a highly experienced owner who made some very intelligent and very unique additions to this Nauta Swan 105, then spotted by her current owner, who's such an experienced sailor that the captain tells me he's made recent history in sailing. So, if you're a faithful follower of sailing yachts, probably some of the things I say in this video you'll already know, but I can guarantee you this, that some of the things you'll see in this video will fill you with the spirit and a holy desire to become her third owner. It was my colleague Joost Govaerts and Captain Alex Corson who put me through the Sunday School of Sailing, starting with the sail configuration currently on Child of Lear. The large sail at the forward end of the yacht, called a Genoa sail, is about 250 square meters in size. The mainsail, on the other hand, is called, well, the mainsail, and is over 270 square meters. But what interested me the most about this is that where I previously believed that modern yachts furled this sail into the mast, Captain Alex and Joost explained to me that furling it into the boom is a much better system. As you can imagine, this sail is a considerable weight on board, 308 kilograms in fact, and furling it into the mast positions that weight at a fairly high point, which is really not ideal. By furling it into the boom, it's kept in a lower position, keeping the centre of gravity nice and low. I should also add that the sail that we used was brand new, so during filming we were able to commission it. The cables that you can see here are called stays, and on Child of Lear they were made from carbon fibre. Not only do these give essential support to the mast, but I was interested to learn that the aft stays and forestays can actually bend the mast. The yacht has what's called a real-time adjuster that adjusts the tension of the forestay to give greater control over the position of the mast. Most yachts have an adjustable backstay. Not many benefit from an adjustable forestay. I was starting to see the appeal of sailing. I had no idea it was so technical. Actually, Child of Lear is a very technically advanced vessel. Captain Alex was telling me that he can literally sail it alone if he just has some help getting in and out of the berth. That is quite remarkable for a yacht of this size, but made possible in part by these large hidden winches called captive winches. These hydraulically powered units, each one costing the price of a small car, can lift and lower the sails at the touch of a button. I was learning though that sailing is not about touching buttons, it really is about getting involved. So on our sea trial, these lines, called sheets, were run to large winches round the aft cockpit so that the crew could enjoy the experience of sailing one of the world's most magnificent yachts in its class.
There's so much about this yacht that can be operated by the touch of a button or with a more hands-on approach. There are two steering quadrants, for example. One of them is for the autopilot, and that's hydraulic. The other one, from the helm wheel, is direct steering, and that's what I'm actually doing right now. Now, Joost and Alex speak with such enthusiasm when they talk about the tension you can feel in the helm wheel as the wind conditions change, and how with a slight alteration to the sheets you can make the hull dip and rise, lengthening the waterline length, and as a result increasing speed and performance. They talk with great joy about the way that a small crew work together, learning to think what other people are thinking about as weather conditions change, so they can squeeze every fraction out of a knot, gleaning it from the wind. And then Joost said something to me I'll never forget. He said, a motor yacht is about getting where you want to go so you can drop the anchor and enjoy a cocktail. A sailing yacht, that's about the getting there. That's where the fun is.
That's not to say that Child of Lear is not equally impressive at anchor. Let me show you around for a moment. But for those of you who usually change channel when I show the cabins, don't go anywhere. The master stateroom on this yacht has a feature so impressive, you just would never guess it. The cockpit area on Child of Lear really is far more luxurious than on most of the sailing yachts I've ever seen. Much more spacious too, with these generously proportioned sofas creating an open lounge area. An interesting couple of additions were made to the yacht when it was built so that the owner could fully benefit from this. Firstly, a door was added to the port side of the superstructure so that the captain could exit the navigation station without walking through the middle of the cockpit when the owner may be talking to guests. But look at this too, something I have certainly never seen before. A second helm station forward of the mast so that the captain can navigate from here if the owner wishes privacy in the cockpit while the yacht is underway. The main entrance into the yacht through this sliding door reveals a beautiful inside lounge decked in walnut woods and with custom furnishings, silk carpet and plenty of natural light letting the sunshine in and procuring magnificent panoramic views. Let's move to the bow though, where the crew quarters are located. Child of Lear can run well with a crew of 4 in 2 cabins, after which is a neat and useful crew mess. And then further aft still, there is another cabin that can be used for guests or for more crew, and another area with a washer and a dryer. The galley is to starboard, and the captain told me that a Michelin star chef once cooked for 25 people from this very spot. Moving back through the lounge, a separate stairwell takes you to the guest accommodation, where there is a sumptuous twin stateroom with an ensuite bathroom, and a VIP stateroom that is equally sumptuous and also benefits from an ensuite bathroom. I did tell you that the master stateroom was worth waiting for though, so at this point I will shut up and just let you enjoy it.
I did tell you, didn't I? Actually, there is so much about this yacht that really did surprise me. Apart from the incredible master stateroom, the captain also told me that they once reached 19.5 knots of speed. That's powered only by the wind. And speaking of the wind, he also told me that once on their way back from Cuba, they hit gusts of 65 knots. The structural integrity of these Nauta-Swan yachts is legendary. A motor yacht of the same size just couldn't do that. I really do need to learn more about this field of yachting, but it's the deep passion and great knowledge of Joost that makes him the ideal representative for the owner of Child of Lear who would like to sell her. If you could see yourself as being the next owner of this incredible yacht, it will be Joost's contact details that are on screen in a moment.
So that was Child of Lear presented by David Seal. Thank you again, David, so much for allowing me to share this amazing work for you. Also, as a video producer, it's just wonderfully made. The boat is, I think, amazing, but also the way that he shows it is just absolute top notch. If you ever want to learn how to present something in an honest, just amazing way, I'd say you can't really do much better than David Seal is doing. So absolutely amazing there. A nice intro, right? And now I was thinking, they probably want something like 6.5 million or something for a boat like this. Now, we as sea wolves are obviously not going to pay that. But my wife had a really great idea yesterday. She said, Florian, this particular boat, you have 19,000 subscribers, right? Because, yay, Sea Wolves, we hit 19,000 subscribers 2 days ago, so congratulations to all of us. And I was thinking, so, 6.5 million, now of course that's not what we're going to pay, right? I mean, but if we include the first, say, year and a half of upkeep, it might be, 6.5. So if we divide that by 19,000, just a few $100 for all of us, right? And all I modestly ask to, make it happen is that I get to be the captain and sail around the world, right? And we'll make a nice charter, a schedule for the next, with 19,000 subscribers, the next 10 to 15 years. But on the other hand, I mean, if you enter this with me, great idea, right? Somewhere in the next 10 to 15 years, you are going to have an amazing week with your beloved one on board of Child of Lear. So if you're up for that, let me know in the comments, right? Great idea. My wife always has great ideas like this. So that was Child of Lear. I hope you enjoyed that little overview. And man, that aft cabin, wow, what a great idea. To extend it like that is just like, why didn't they come up with that particular idea when they designed my little 12 meter? I mean, technically it could sort of be possible to have smaller boats and use a similar concept where you often have an aft cabin. I have an aft cabin, it just doesn't have a platform that comes down and a nice little glass sliding door there. So ideas for smaller boat designers here on the Seawolf channel, I would say. But okay, that's that. Let's get into the sailing news, and first things first, Gitana, Jules Verne, really sad to say, but they changed the website again, and unfortunately the weather turned bad, or at least not favorable for another record attempt, and so right now the text is again showing no start within the next 96 hours or so. So no view on a start anywhere in the near future, 5, 6, maybe 7 days or so. So I'll keep you updated if it changes again to a possible start. Looked yesterday a little bit like it might happen, but apparently something happened in the weather that the guys over at the Gitana team didn't like. So abort for the Jules Verne trophy for Gitana 17 right now. But anything can happen, can change again tomorrow maybe, so we'll just have to see what happens. But that's it for the Jules Verne update right now. Let's jump into the computer here and see. And so the thing that immediately kind of jumps out at us is that Yannick Besthaven once again quite massively extended his lead. So yesterday I mentioned that he was about 110 nautical miles ahead of the second best in the race, which at that point was Charlie Dalin. It's still Charlie, but right now the distance has increased to 159 nautical miles, so basically 160 miles. So another 40 or so nautical miles gained for Yannick Besthaven in the last 24 hours. So he is really fast, and as you can see the weather here also, yeah, he has just very strong winds in a very favorable direction. I would say it's more or less the perfect angle for a boat like his. So yeah, and it seems also, as you can see, to stay, like we talked about yesterday, that for yesterday for 2-3 days good wind. So now at least for the next 2 days they have pretty much a smooth ride with 15 to 25 knots all the way nicely past the ice line. So Yannick is a little bit higher, but you know, as you can see, really good wind right now. He has the space with the ice line not too close to actually make more southing, to really go on that perfect angle that he needs, and it's really translated into, you know, a lot of speed. Interesting to see that Charlie Dalin is kind of you know, match racing with them, so kind of matching each other tack for tack. As you can see that they kind of tacked more or less at the same moment, it seems, more or less at the same latitude, so that's kind of interesting. And Charlie now also you know, with the good speed, not such a great 24-hour average, but doing 14.4 again now as he gets into stronger wind. Then Thomas Ruyant, actually interesting news on that front, that there still was apparently some damage to his foil box. So he damaged one of the foils. He cut that foil short, as I showed you already several times in the show, and apparently there was still also some residual damage from the possible impact, or you know, we still don't exactly know what he may have hit or what exactly may have happened, but he was doing considerably some slow sailing yesterday, and some people were wondering why, and apparently that was because he needed some time before going into the big storm now towards Cape Horn to kind of make the final repairs to the foil box. But apparently that did cost him some miles, so linked out all 100% sailing now again, but it did set him back a little bit also compared to Yannick Besthaven's position. Now behind there we see something that's quite interesting, that Thomas Ruyant actually, together with Damien Seguin and Jean Le Cam in 5th as always, have kind of separated themselves a little bit. So the three of them have run ahead a little bit and have kind of, you know, won some individual battles, because you all remember that Jean Le Cam was very closely dueling with Boris Herman in a very, you know, modern foiler. And interesting to see now that if we compare the two lines, so this dark gray here is Boris on top, and we see that if we look at his course line, I've selected it here, this big gray line, that we see that he kind of made this bend, getting too close to the ice line here, and then, you know, needing to jibe up, while Jean Le Cam, the straight line here, has actually you know, just kept going on this course. And so the advantage of him being able to sail this direction and, you know, being able to keep going on, not hitting the ice line, allowed him actually to gain this advantage, where we see Boris just really had to turn up and go north quite a bit more. And we see a similar thing happen, by the way, to Isabel Joschke. So she was also going nicely on this line, but then you know, we see her more or less same course as Jean Le Cam, but then getting too close to the ice line and having to jibe up for a while. And yeah, unfortunate for both of them, because at this particular course that they're on right now, they are making good speed. So Isabel's going 14 knots, Boris is going something similar, also 14, but both of them are just sailing in a direction that's not really helping them right now, or at least wasn't helping them. It seems that Boris has just actually jibed back into the right direction, so he's going the same course as Jean is sailing right now, but it did lose him, you know, quite a lot of miles, I think, because let's see, Jean Le Cam now 259 miles behind the leader, and actually Boris is at 313, so he's about 50 or so miles behind. So that jibe literally cost him about 50 miles, which is kind of interesting to observe. So these three have made themselves loose, you know, a little bit, and running a little bit away from that big group that was kind of all hurdled together. Then behind them we see that Lewis Burton also lost a bit the connection with the group. So he was kind of quite close. He was actually sailing quite close to Giancarlo Pedotte yesterday, but for whatever reason has been a little bit slower over the last 30 hours or so, and has again fallen a little bit behind. It seems that his current speed is nice and his 24-hour average is also pretty good, but yeah, must be due to you know, a bit an unfavorable course, and we do kind of see that if we look at his line, that you know, like very close to the ice line, also had to make a jibe, and yeah, and had to make this kind of giant you know, northerly bend over here, as you can see, and so that also cost him some miles. Now then behind there, of course, we see that the battle between Roman Athanasio and Armel Trippon and Clarice Kramer is heating up a little bit again. So Trippon definitely gaining some miles again on Isabel. But it seems that Romain Athanasio, who was in some lighter winds when we talked about it yesterday, has been, you know, gaining a little bit on Armel again. So interesting to see that the three of them now all relatively close together, and I guess they're going to be duking it out over the next 3 days. It is interesting to see that we have a bit of a light patch kind of right in front of them that is going to move to the east, of course, so I don't think that will be a real problem for them. But it seems that Clarice is in slightly lighter winds right now. So you see it also in her speed right now. She's doing 11 knots, and her 24 hours is actually at about 10 knots, while Armel was doing 14. And I think a similar thing, yeah, so Romain Athanasio also 14 over his 24-hour average. So they've been gaining on Clarice, yeah, for over the last 24 hours. They've both been gaining about 4 miles an hour on her. So she's lost a lot of distance actually to both of them, probably due to this light wind. And that should dissipate, and so the three of them are going to be moving together. But yeah, as we can see, Armel still cutting through the field really fast. And interesting to see that if we look at Lewis Burton now and his distance to Yannick Besthaven, that looks very similar to the distance now between Lewis Burton and Clarice Kramer and Armel Trippon. So they're all very close together, and so yeah, we're very cool to see what happens. They're predicted to go around Cape Horn somewhere in the end of the coming weekend, and so it will be interesting to see if by then he will still have, like, you know, 5 days or so. So it will be interesting to see if he can actually catch up. You know, if they can actually catch up with the back of that front fleet with Lewis. So you know, basically, if Clarice here and Armel and maybe Romain also will all find their connection again with that head group, that'll be quite interesting to see. They do have good wind in the head group. So then behind we see Pip over here still in 17th.
The milestones just keep coming this week. I crossed the anti-meridian, and I was going to savour the moment with you, only I was sitting there looking at the numbers at 179, we're on 179 for a long time. Why are the numbers going down? And I completely missed it again, and was sitting looking at 179 west, so I can't share that with you, but we crossed the anti-meridian.
A bit hard to see because we have the anti-meridian here, and all the boats kind of, because of the app, get stuck in here, but these are not real boats, they don't exist, they're just kind of ghost boats in the computer. We have Alan Rora, who significantly slowed down again. I haven't heard that there's any real problem on board, but doing 11 knots now, 13 knots average over the last 24 hours, and he was significantly ahead of Arnold Bozaris and Pip Hare, but it seems right now to be yeah, has lost quite a bit of speed over the last 24 hours, with Pip Hare doing a 14 knot average, and Arnold Bozaris basically at 13.8, so also more or less a 14 knot average. So yeah, they've also been gaining 3 to 4 miles every hour on Alan, and so he's lost. He was kind of in the middle between all those groups, kind of all by himself, and now this back group definitely you know, getting into a bit of a battle with him also. So I guess a nice goal for both Pip and for Arnoud here, to kind of see him in their scopes a little bit further ahead and have another kind of goal to sail towards, on top of course, kind of battling each other. Pip is definitely creeping closer again to Arnoud though, so we'll see if she overtakes at some point or not, but interesting to follow the battle anyway. Behind there we have the aft group, Jeremy Beyou still leading. Super good speed right now, 20.9 knots over the last 30 minutes. Last 4 hours, 19.4, one of the highest averages in the entire fleet, so that's pretty cool. 14.4 over the last 24 hours. Less so, but I guess he's really feeling the speed right now. And let's see what's happening to this weather, because he's nicely in the system right now. Yeah, and he's going to be following that. So yeah, that's going to keep going. So I do, oh yeah, and then we have another light patch right there in the middle. Well, we have to see. 2 days to get through there. Be tough. Well, I guess at least for the next 2 days, Charel is going to be ripping fast, because he's going to have excellent wind from an excellent direction, and then he might get hampered by a high pressure that'll sort of spread over him as he gets to the end of a 2-day run, and he might, you know, slow down again for a day and a half or so. But seems that for now at least he's going to really gain a lot of miles, especially as Pip and the rest here are going to have to tack up a little bit. They're very close to the ice line, as you can see. And you can also see that the wind here not so favorable here, as this other system is kind of sort of rolling with them. So she's probably going to have to you know, jibe at some point and sail a course that's a little bit more away from the ice line, losing again some miles, while Charel is going to be on a perfect line right next to the ice line, so the shortest possible course. And then behind him, that whole group basically doing very nice. Kojiro Shirashi here doing actually nice speed also. I mean, 17.4 knots over the last 4 hours. I think that's one of the fastest speeds that I've seen him have. So nice to see that, even though he has a smaller mainsail now, because he had to repair it, of course, much earlier in the race, that he's you know, getting some good speed out of the boat. He seems also a little bit closer again now to Stéphane La Dirigeon, and we have Didier Costa here, so that might actually turn into a more active battle again, which would be nice. And then all the way more towards the end, we have Manuel Cosin here, rather lonely between these two end groups, and then we have finally Miranda Marin and Clement Grout, and then, you know, very spread out here, kind of the four of them. Arie Huusela we saw on board yesterday, and Alexia Barrier. So yeah, doing pretty well. And then all the way in the end we see Sebastian Destremeux. He's been falling behind again because of, you know, some weather. So yeah, we can see that he's like very far behind now, all alone. So I guess we should probably do something in the show for him somewhere in the next day. I'll think of something nice to do there. And yeah, so that's basically the positions of everybody in the fleet right now, and kind of what is going on there. And so we'll have to see tomorrow how things change. So that's it for the show today. I gotta get busy and get the engine compartment open here and start putting some antifreeze in places. But thank you all again for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, and you know, put something nice in the comment. I would love to know your opinion on the child of Lear there, or put maybe a link to a nice boat that you know, really aspiring for you to watch, something that you really dream of. I think that will be kind of nice to see that from you guys. And I guess we will see each other tomorrow. For all of the info, go to seawolvestv.com, and have a nice evening, and we'll see each other again tomorrow with a delicious cup of hot coffee.